Hello, I'm Eric Jonathan Sheptock, also known as the Homeless Advocate. I've advocated for DC's homeless since mid-June 2006, and it is now March 26, 2020, and we are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. People want to know how homeless are faring during this pandemic because, as we know, everything is shut down. So let me see. Well, at the CCNV shelter, well, that building is 80 years old, and many of the outlets don't work. The outlets that do work are not shooting 120 volts. That makes it very hard for the homeless to charge up their mobile devices, their phones, their laptops, whatever other devices they have. I personally have quite a few devices: a phone, a laptop, a couple of portable charge bars, a Bluetooth speaker, things that I use on my job. I do event rentals of tents, tables, chairs, porta potties, temporary fencing, things you use for outdoor events. And my job, by the way, is affected by the coronavirus outbreak. And the reason is because with me doing event rentals, a lot of events have been canceled. I live in Washington, D.C., and we had the Cherry Blossom Festival toward the end of March every year. My company, Gotta Go Now, had the contract to provide tents and porta potties and what have you for the Cherry Blossom Festival. That got canceled. We had the contract for Emancipation Day. I should say DC Emancipation Day because it is March or April 16th, and that might get canceled. So we're losing a lot of our event contracts due to the coronavirus outbreak. But the flip side of things is that because we do rent porta potties, a lot of businesses are renting more porta potties to keep people from coming in off the street to use their bathrooms. And so we are making more business there. More businesses are renting the hand wash stations we have, these portable sinks with foot pumps for the water. And we also have a lot of sanitizer that we install in the wall-mounted dispensers that we put inside of the porta potties. And as it turns out, a lot of people are stealing these liter bags of sanitizer out of the porta potties, and so we've had to use special measures dealing with the sanitizer. Normally we refill the dispensers as soon as they're empty, but now we have to have our customers call the office and put in a special order. So that's how it's affected my company that I work for. The company, again, has Gotta Go Now, because I am one of the working homeless. But getting back to the shelter, the CCNV building, like I said, is 80 years old. Very few outlets work. The ones that work don't work very well. So the homeless have to go elsewhere to charge up within a reasonable time. It takes at least 2 hours just to get a 20% charge on my various devices. So I go out to Starbucks or a library, charge up there, use the Wi-Fi, go online, but the libraries and the Starbucks are closed. The Starbucks was doing a grab and go deal for a while, but all the Starbucks near me They've shut down completely. They're not even doing grab and go now. And that affects other homeless people because they can't go to Starbucks or the library to go online, charge their devices and what have you. As it turns out, in this area where I'm sitting right now, I'm near Harris Teeter's on 1st and M in Northeast Washington, D.C. And there are some outlets mounted on the light poles in this area. That's not true across the city, but it is true in this area. So some of the homeless are actually plugging into these light poles and charging their phones there. Many of the homeless do have cell phones. Some have what are called Obama phones, free government phones. And so they do have a way to call their loved ones. However, if they can't plug in and charge up, then the phone is useless. But they are able, in this area, to plug into the outdoor outlets, the ones mounted on the light poles, and charge there. I just went to a tent city that's about a block away from Harris Teeter on M Street under the bridge to my left, about 1 block. And the people there were saying to me that they're not getting the amount of service that they used to get from DC government. DC government for a while was coming around handing out sanitizer. They haven't done that for a few days now. And they were also saying that because there's less foot traffic, many people are laid off or furloughed or have their hours reduced. And so you don't have all the workers passing by, walking through the tent city, which is right on the sidewalk under the bridge. And so, and I know I'm shaking a little bit here, it's getting cool, but because of the lower pedestrian traffic, the homeless who panhandle are not making as much money. They would panhandle and buy food, and that's not possible now. Places that feed the homeless, the soup kitchens, they used to let you come in and sit down and eat. They now have a grab and go policy, and food that's normally served hot is being served in a grab and go fashion, takeout plates, but the scrambled eggs are cold, the pancakes are cold, and the homeless don't have somewhere to warm it up. No microwaves available to them, and so many of them are opting out of going to these soup kitchens, and so with the decreased foot traffic and the less opportunities to panhandle, and with the food from the soup kitchens being of lower quality because people can't sit inside and eat, and because the food is being served cold even though it's normally hot food like pancakes and eggs, the homeless are having a hard time getting decent food. And I know people should be grateful for what they can get, but at the same time, you know, it's hard to eat cold eggs, it's hard to eat cold pancakes. And so that's part of what they're dealing with. Oh, so let me see what else there is. Well, so there in DC we have not just the shelters, not just the soup kitchens, but homeless day programs. Places where the homeless can go to receive various services and to hang out if they don't have a job. Places where they can stay off the street, away from business, and so forth. And these day programs are shut down altogether. And so the homeless have to go to the sidewalks and to the parks. It is still kind of cool in DC. A lot of years it has warmed up by this time. We're seeing 70, 80, even 90 degrees this time of year. But it's still kind of cool. The high today was in the high 50s. It's in the evening now and it's cooling down. But it will be like 80 degrees tomorrow. The homeless will be in the parks. And because of the coronavirus, people are being advised to be in groups of 10 or less. And the cops have already begun to go through the parks where homeless people are congregating and to tell them not to congregate in groups of 10 people or more. So that's some of what they're dealing with now. Let me see. Well, and that's pretty much it. I will be contacting Department of Human Services very soon in order to let them know that the homeless people in 10 cities are not getting the services that they used to get. Not even what they got in relation to the coronavirus. You're not getting the hand sanitizer. They're not getting as much food. People that used to come out and serve the homeless, churches and other groups, they're not coming out. So the homeless are needing to find other ways to get food, decent food. Harris Teeter used to let the homeless come in and charge their phones. In the entranceway right behind me, there's an outlet in the entranceway. There used to be a bench in the entranceway. The homeless used to sit there on that bench and charge their phones and use the Wi-Fi. But the bench has been removed as a way of deterring the homeless from coming in there. They can still use the bathroom. But life is getting harder on the streets because of the coronavirus. And I don't know what other measures the homeless might resort to in order to get Wi-Fi access, charge their phones, get money, to get food. There are still some places serving, not just the soup kitchens, but I do know a church, the Ebenezer Church at 201 F Street Northeast is still serving. Of course, it's grab and go, but they do still have that option. And I should probably reshoot this video at a warmer time when I'm not shaking from the cold. But that is the quick and dirty in terms of what the homeless are going through here in Washington, D.C. And I hope it gets better soon. All right, I'll stop there.